Final video, add and subtract scientific notation. A little bit trickier, I think, than multiplication and division, but I think you can still do it. I know you can still do it. Let's get after it. All right, number one, it says for addition and subtraction, we always line up the place values. Yeah, since you learned about, adding three-digit to two-digit numbers, you always had to line up the ones place, line up the tens place, right? And with decimals, you got to line up the decimal. So we have to line up the place values. And since in scientific notation, the place value is determined by the powers of 10, we have to make them match. Powers of 10 match. So if we look at this, we got, right, this, oops, we got this 5 here and the 7 here. They don't match. So therefore, they're not lined up in place value yet. So we have to make them match. And what I like to do is I like to take the smaller one and bump it up. So what I'm going to do is rewrite these two. Oops, I always make that mistake. Don't forget your plus sign in there. I like to bump that larger. I like to take the smaller one and make it larger. All right, this one doesn't change at all. It's just going to remain the same. But because I made this larger, I have to make this smaller by the same number of place values as the numbers of exponents that I increased the 5 by. So I had to go up 2 to get to 7. So I have to move the decimal over twice, 1, 2. So I get 0.021 times 10 to the 7. Now, I made this has to get bigger, so I had to make this smaller. All right, power of 10 gets bigger, so the place value moves to the left or makes that number smaller by 2 powers of 10. Now we're ready to move on because we got our matching powers of 10. So let's look at number 2. Use distributive property to factor out the matching powers of 10. So what I want to look at here is we have matching powers of 10. We have the 10 to the 7th and the 10 to the 7th. Distributive property says we can pull those out, 10 to the 7th, and what's remaining? We have 0.021 plus 1.51. All right, when we factor out the 10 to the 7th, we have those two things remaining, those two numbers remaining. All right, so done. We did the first 2 steps. Now, what does step 3 say? It says add or subtract the non-power. So in this case, we're going to be adding. So we have 10 to the 7th. And what do we get when we add those guys? We can do it off to the side. 1.51 plus 0.021. Make sure we line up those decimals. We got to line up the place values. All right, we get 1, 3, 5, and 1. So there we have it. We have 1.531. And then step 4, we have to rewrite in scientific notation. And the first number is the non-power. That has to be between 1 and 10. The second number is our power of 10. And luckily, this guy there is between 1 and 10 already, so we don't have to make any adjustments. And that's it. We've done it. It's not that difficult, is it? I think you can handle it. I know you can handle it. Good luck.